didn't, then we wouldn't have prominent executives and judges suing Hulu because they don't want the world to see their version of fun. Listen here, sis, we've already seen it. It's all over Netflix.
Right. We
all had Kazaa back in the day. You know, I used to watch it back in the day, you know, and it's not just Freaknik. When you go back and watch some of these, the after parties at some of these concerts, I was at that 50 Cent concert, you know, you was at that Jay-Z concert. What you did during the after parties of those concerts, that was recorded too.
What about the Dreamville concert just happened?
Exactly. The Dreamville concert that just happened in North Carolina, guess what? 40 years from now, there'll be a documentary about it. And guess what? Your mother's going to be in it. You know, somebody's aunt's going to be in it. Somebody's going to be ashamed of the fact that that's something that they did. So, I mean, again, that's why it's important to maintain perfection. You can't judge the people with something like that going on. To take you serious,
right,
when all I got to do is go on Hulu and I could see just how serious you were back in '94.
And the reason a lot of these politicians and judges and people on this group, they don't want it exposed, is because, listen, when you get voted into those spots, into those seats, you know, they do a background check.
Right.
And since this was the 90s and it wasn't on the internet per se, now that is being you can lose your spot as a politician. Imagine, you know, you look at the DeSantis and all this, like, you imagine your politician, it comes up, it was cross-dressing and this and that. You can lose that spot.
Right.
They're trying to prevent havoc in their career before it starts because they know what they did. They know their secret is being exposed.
Yeah, Khan, if I could, right? Let me get Leviticus chapter 18. Start from the very top. I'm gonna go through this real quick, but the point I'm bringing out Leviticus chapter nations are doing, and this
right.
it's a spiritual thing. With when we left Egypt, when going to the land of Canaan or whatever, let them do what they would do. The Lord gave you laws, statutes, and commandments, and I'm gonna show you right here. Read verse 1.
Leviticus chapter 18, verse 1.
Right.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying,
right,
speak unto the children
speak
of
unto who?
The children
unto
of
who?
Israel. The children of Israel.
Right. The so-called black.
I am the Lord your God.
Right. I'm the Most High, your power. Keep going.
Egypt.
Of what?
The lands of Egypt.
America is also what?
Egypt.
Uh-huh.
Wherein ye dwelt.
Uh-huh.
Shall ye not do?
Yeah, so just letting you know, there's all different types of tribes of them. Why? Because they were doing things that was unseemly to the most. So this is letting you know, wherever the Lord brings you, you should not do the things that you saw there.
Right.
And you know, he gives laws on what they were doing back in Egypt. So just keep going, Ashar.
Neither shall ye walk ordinances.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I am the Lord your God.
Right. So right here is just letting you know, no matter where you go, no matter what you do, you should walk in the Lord's statutes and commandments, follow the Most High God. Yeah, read verse 5.
None of you shall approach to any that is near of kin to him.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, that's verse 6. Verse 5. Ye shall therefore keep my statutes,
right,
and my judgment, which if a man do,
right,
he shall live.
He shall
them.
what?
He shall live.
I'm gonna skip down, but it talks about not uncovering your see the nakedness of your mother, your father, your brothers and sisters, all that. So drop down to verse, let's see, drop down to verse 21.
Verse 21. And thou shalt not let any of thy seed pass through the fire to Molech.
Right,
Neither shalt thou profane the name of thy God.
right, keep going,
I am the Lord.
keep going,
Thou shalt not lie with mankind,
right,
as with womankind.
right,
It is abomination.
keep going, we know that.
Neither shalt thou lie with any beast to defy thyself therewith.
Right,
Neither shall any woman stand before a beast to lie down thereto.
right.
It is confusion.
It is confusing. So the Lord's giving you certain things that the other nations were doing and you shouldn't do. So, because this is a law. Now read the next verse. What does it say, Ashar?
Defile not ye yourselves
Right,
in any of these things.
right. All the things that's above this verse, you should do what, Ashar?
Defile not ye yourselves in any of these things.
Because you're a prince of the power, man. You are a prince. You are a princess. Why would you do stuff that peasants do? You understand? Let the heathens do all these wickedness. You understand what I'm saying? You're supposed to be kings and priests. You're supposed to be so-called gods, as the scripture says, right? So why would you defile yourself with beast and homosexuality and all these other stuff? Being that freaknik. You understand?
Right.
You might not think so, but we all related, man.
And you know they were all Christian.
Yeah. Listen,
They're all Christian.
that's definitely all Christian.
All Christian.
Listen, if you put it over the altar and say amen, that's blessed.
Raised by grandma and grandma.
You know what I'm saying? The ones with the biggest hat is the most blessed of the church. You understand? The one with the biggest basket of fruit pays the most tithes. You understand? But that's important, man. We're not supposed to defile ourselves in this mess. Keep going.
For in all these the nations are defiled.
For what?
For in all these the nations are defiled.
Yeah, for all these, the nations, not nation, the nations are defiled, which I have cast out before you. So this is letting you know, everything you see us doing, we get it from other people, man. We get it from them. It's just like how it was with Adam and Eve in the garden, man, with the so-called fruit. The Christian church, they like to say it was an apple. Adam bit into the apple and all this. If you don't know, Adam and Eve is an allegory. It's letting you know certain things. It's not literal. You understand? Right. He ain't biting to the fruit. The fruit gave you the knowledge to unlock 100% in your brain. You leave it to conspiracy theories. You know what I'm saying? They say silly things like that, but it's just letting you know we was dwelling in other nations, man.
Right.
And the punishments we got for dwelling in other nations is, guess what? That's what we learned. Good and evil. Evil is death and murder, and the man having sex with your brother or your wife is out there. Whole FREAKNIK video about to come out.
Right.
You thought your woman was a Christian church woman that did no wrong, and she's praying that
good college student.
Right, a good college student. She's praying that the FREAKNIK of '97 don't come next. So your children might not be yours. Sweating. Please let there not have been vaccine footage of FREAKNIK '99, because that's what's gonna come next.
AIDS was big in the '90s too.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And listen, as popular as it is, they're gonna 94 as a test. Let's see how it's gonna go. Next is 95. Next is 96. Next is 97. Who knows how long they're going to go? But if you keep watching it, guess what? All your sins is going to come out. All those secrets you was trying to hide for your husband or your wife or whatever, they're going to all come out. Because why? You was not supposed to do what the other nations was doing, man.
Right.
You're not supposed to. And you know how you know you're not supposed to do what the other nations is doing? Because the other nations look out for themselves. They blame us for FREAKNIK and Greek Fest and all that, but they had girls going wild.
Right.
They had all these other stuff. MTV Uncut. MTV, what was it? Bash at the Beach or wherever it was, where MTV used to be at wherever.
Spring Break.
Yeah, Spring. That's what it was. MTV Spring Break. And they would cut off the cameras. You got to be here to see what was going. All their sins is hidden. Why? Because they love their people. They don't want to shame them.
Right.
They want to try to forgive their youth. Why? Because they didn't know no better. But us, we have to know better out the goddamn womb. Since what? You was teenagers. You tell, listen, I was young. I didn't know no better. Fine. Well, guess what? Your sins is being shown all over the goddamn Hulu. Streaming all your sins. While their sins is trying to be kept into the book in the bottom of the goddamn Vatican. You know what I'm saying? Nobody can see because it's holy. Right. But us, we gotta be dirty and all this nonsense. Man, this is why we need to come at 1 West 125th Street, because then truly your sins would be washed away from the Most High in Christ, man. And then you can honestly say that wasn't me at Freaknik, even when it was you. You can believe that wasn't me. I don't know who that is, such and such. You understand? But that's what I want to say.
I got one last scripture on this as well. Ecclesiasticus chapter 7 verse 23. It says, "Hast thou children?" I know these people back in the 90s. They were the daughters. You're a judge. You got children, right? You are high-level security, corporate company manager, but whatever you want to call yourself, you got children now, right?
All of it.
You're a politician making laws, and you got children, right? Instruct them and bow down their neck from their youth.
Right.
Your parents failed you.
Right.
Your Christian church failed you. You were supposed to be a good boy, be a good girl, go off to college, study hard, make a life for yourself, and you failed because your parents failed you. Your parents failed you because they didn't teach you modesty. Your parents failed you because they didn't teach you how to be shamefaced or how to uphold honor and integrity. Your pastor failed you because they didn't teach you how to be shamefaced. They didn't hold your parents accountable about you being modest every day you walked out your house.
Right.
Now we go on to the next verse. Hast thou daughters? Who's the ones that are complaining about this video coming out? Someone's daughter.
Right.
Have a care of their body. It says have a care of their body. If I was a father, I would be teaching my daughter to cover her ass, Salakia, to cover her behind every single moment of the day.
Nah, cover that ass. Cover that ass up. What's wrong with you? Nah, black people say, cover your ass up before you go out there. What's wrong with you, boy? Be real with the Mashah. It's gotta cover your behind up. Cover that ass up. What's wrong with you, man? What's wrong? You know what's what you doing?
Put some clothes on.
Smacking her across the head. You don't better walk around the house like that. That is crazy. But listen, your parents failed you. Your church, your pastor, your imam, whatever religious organization you belong to, failed you because they didn't teach you how to have care over your body.
To be shamefaced.
They didn't teach you to have care over your body, and they obviously didn't do a good job of caring over your body, because here you are letting every Tom, Dick, and Harry see your ass all over Freaknik.
Right.
Touch all over your ass on Freaknik. Smack it, rub it, tell you to bend over so they could get a better look with their camcorder. You have been failed. And now because you feel ashamed because of how loose of a whore you were, now you want to prevent your secrets from being exposed, right? It says, and show not thyself cheerful toward them. Listen, you can't be happy all the time with your daughters. You got to be stern with your daughters.
Right.
You can't let your daughters go around thinking that everything is all happiness and flowers and butterflies and rainbows and sprinkles.
You're not their friend.
And spice. No, you're not their friend. You're their father. You are Lord over your daughter until she is put into the hands of a man that will care for her as equally or as greater than you have your entire life. And these daughters, it's obvious they didn't have a father that cared for them.
Right.
Damn right.
It's obvious.
Yeah. Damn right. Give that a hand. Yeah, man. Listen, with regards to this freak thing, man, the officers laid it down as flat as that it could possibly be laid down. And when we situations like this in closing, I mean, it presents one of the biggest problems in the black community, period. And that problem is what the officer brought out is, our families need to be in a position in which our women know their place. And the result of our women not knowing their place is them going out to be able and voting and voting.
We got a politician that's trying to stop this from coming out.
Right.
You got a judge trying to stop this from coming out because they are ashamed.
Because they are ashamed. Because they are ashamed, man. So again, it is a horrible thing. And big shout out to the chat, man. We got a person in the chat who just came out and said, is that when AIDS, HIV was at its highest in the 90s? Damn right. Give him a hand. It damn sure was at its highest. And we see in the 90s, HIV and AIDS begin to make its transition from the community exclusively into the black community, specifically black women.
It's crazy you say that because in the line of work I do in social services, the majority of my clients are LGBTQ.
Right.
They suffer and have to live with AIDS and HIV. And you know when they got it? In the 90s.
In the 90s.
In the 90s. That's when the majority of my clients I deal with, they got AIDS in the 90s.
In the 90s, man. Like, see, nowadays these kids grow up and there is a huge push to educate people about HIV and AIDS and the dangers of it. Man, back when I was coming up, it was a mystery. It was a mystery.
No one wanted to talk about it.
Nobody wanted to talk about it.
If you were a basketball player, no one wanted to play basketball with you because they thought you can catch AIDS.
Right.
You trying to go for a layup, I'm going to just let him lay it out. I'm not trying to block it. I don't want to catch AIDS.
Right.
Before they actually had the name AIDS and HIV, the first thing they called it was gay cancer.
Gay cancer.
Right.
Seriously, it
got that
mysterious disease. It didn't have a name at the time. They called it gay cancer.
Right.
Just like they called it monkeypox as all these gay men were passing along. Now it's mpox. They want to not stigmatify. They didn't want to just make the blame fall on homosexuals.
Right.
When it's 99%.
Yes.
Even AIDS today, it's still 85% of all cases are from homosexuals.
Right. Overwhelmingly.
Yeah. Like, so if 85% of lung disease came from smokers, you would call it a smoker's disease.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? 85% comes from homosexuals. It is a homosexual disease.
So yeah, man, this promiscuous behavior, this disgusting fornicating behavior and spirit is what leads to things like HIV and AIDS. And it primarily stick in the LGBTQ community. It did ravage that community. But later on, specifically in the 90s, we've seen a huge uptake in HIV and AIDS amongst black women. And I remember having many discussions about that because I took a whole education class on HIV and AIDS, education class and all of that. And it was always a big mystery why black women's HIV and AIDS rate was always so higher. Like they was directly under LGBTQ men. And one of the biggest things that they would say was that men would go out to FREAKNIK. And let me tell you something else. It's not just the women that's going to be suing Hulu for this documentary, because you disgusted men went down there and performed all different disgusting acts the way they do in all of those fraternities. And what happens is that you are able to contract that, and then since you on the DL, you take it home and give it to your wife, and then she'll end up with HIV and AIDS. And so, yeah, big shout out to the chat. Yeah, that's definitely during the height of the AIDS epidemic during the 90s, especially because there wasn't the sophisticated medication to help prevent the spread of the virus. And so, we definitely see those effects today.
But the reason why, and there's a war going on outside.
Right.
And cue that war report, because there's a war that's been going on for ages. Shalom, Lord of Christ.
Shalom, Lord of Christ.
There's a war that's been going on for ages. And this war has just been getting increased and heightened and increased. We got China and Russia, buddy. We got Taiwan scared that China's about to bomb them. We got Japan needing help for the U.S. We got Mexico buying nuclear energy from from Russia at $6 billion and
Right.
telling America you can't come
Outside.
cue that right now, Baba Gashan.
Yeah, we back with that war report.
We back.
Big shout out to Precinct Officer Yawala. Give him a hand. Come through that war report. What we got, sir?
Listen, I can go into a lot of things, right? We can talk about BRICS, we can talk about the digital dollar, but we discussed all of that, right? What I want to get into today is information itself, because we're so spoiled that we get information so freely. The war that's happening is the war on information itself, right? There are panels being made in government to label essentially whatever they don't like as misinformation. Now, we explored how they pressured tech companies to censor people and block people.
Right.
And that's all about information getting out. You think they want you to know about the thing that's happening with BRICS? You think they want you to know, all these leaked documents is happening? They don't. They don't. So I want to get into information itself and misinformation and how that is the new war. That is the war of information itself, and how it's going to be perceived and taken in. And you have to understand, it only takes a generation for these things to be established. Think of it this way: social media has been around for one generation. That's it. And now it's inaugurated in everyone's daily life. No one can live without it. You can't see yourself without it. People will check their phones before they brush their teeth. You know what I mean? And that's just one generation. So it only takes one generation. The next generation won't know a world without having free information, right? Just like there was a world without cameras everywhere.
Right.
If you grew up in the 70s, there were no cameras anywhere.
Right.
They thought that during FREAKNIK there weren't cameras, but again,
right. Remember, there was a generation with no internet, right? It just wasn't a thing. You know what I mean? My generation, when I grew up, there was no social media.
Right.
Didn't exist. It wasn't on no one's mind. Well, there's going to be a generation after us, if things don't change, where there's no free information, right? And I want to get into how they're trying to censor information. Let's get into that first article.
Biden administration considers AI regulation, looking at whether AI is promoting misinformation.
Now, as we all know, AI is the newest, fastest growing sector of the internet, right? And it's the thing that essentially can free us from a lot of restraints.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's crushing industries all over the place. Listen, I made a script in 30 seconds using AI.
Right.
That's how crazy it is.
Right.
I'm not a screenwriter, and I don't have to be.
I heard in the sales section that this AI bot is destroying therapy and counseling. People are able to go online and receive therapy and counseling from the AI, and they prefer it over human beings
because all those things use a pathology, right?
Right.
If this happened, you behave this way. So it can easily be AI doing it. It doesn't have to be a person.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're not as special as you may think.
Right.
You know what I mean? And there is a limit to human ability, to whereas AI can pass that limit. You know what I'm saying? Your thinking ability doesn't go off silicon. You know what I'm saying? It's not as fast as electricity and silicon. You know, so sure computing power, it's faster than you.
Right.
So they're trying to regulate AI, but you have to understand, regulating that regulates everything.
Right.
It's information they don't like you getting. let's keep going.
Administration is looking to regulate artificial intelligence systems to ensure that AI produces approved outputs, including assessing whether AI is promoting misinformation. In a speech at the University of Pittsburgh, Alan Davison, the Assistant Secretary of Communications and Information at the National Telecommunications and Information Administration, said that auditing AI systems are one way of building trust in the developing technology. Much as financial audits create trust in the accuracy of financial statements, accountability mechanisms for AI can help assure that an AI system is trustworthy.
Now, this is legal jargon for we want to make sure it says what we want it to say.
Right. It's pushing our agenda correctly.
Before it goes out to you guys, I want to see what it's saying and change it to whatever we want it to say. Remember, this is the government. This is Biden, right? That's the executive branch. You know what I'm saying? The executive branch of the government is saying we want to basically regulate speech and control what it considers misinformation.
Right.
Now, you have to understand, it considers whistleblowing as misinformation.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The Espionage Act go after whistleblowers. Anything, any leak, anything you find out that's not a press that pressured all the social medias to label things misinformation so no one can see it. It's behind a wall, essentially.
Right.
Well, they're trying to do that with AI, and because right now AI is the wild, wild west.
Right.
And it's breaking all these industries that they are in control of, and they want to prevent this from happening. So that's where we're going. Keep going.
Our initiative will help build an ecosystem of AI audits, assessments, and other mechanisms to help ensure businesses and the public that AI systems can be trusted.
That's essentially a firewall, right? So you know how in China, with China's internet, you don't go directly on the internet.
Right.
It's government approved internet.
Right.
They have a firewall censoring things. That is what's being described here in legal jargon, right? You have to understand what they're saying. All these mechanisms and things in place, look at it as a wall. It's a firewall. And you have to understand, whenever they're being ambiguous, right? They're not being directly of what they're talking about. When they're talking about whole industries, it encompasses everything. There's all information. What can't be considered AI?
Right.
What industry? You know what I'm saying? Like every industry uses AI. So this encompasses everything. And you have to understand, this is how they get away with these type of things. All you have to be is ambiguous. You know what I mean? Just don't be so specific, and I can do what I want. And then you have to fight it in court.
Right.
And then since I never distinctly said what I'm stopping, this can encompass it.
Right. Right.
Keep going.
Slack it. The NTIA said that it was accepting public comment on the best ways to approach the regulations of AI.
Keep going.
At the President's Council of Advisors
At the what?
The President's Council of Advisors on Science and Technology.
I bet you didn't know that existed.
Right.
Did you vote on these people? Did we have a vote and say, I want this person part of this industry, this council that's talking to the president, that's advising him? No.
Right.
This is an unelected panel. Keep going.
President Joe Biden addressed the topic of artificial intelligence, saying that there is not yet proof that it is dangerous, but that tech companies have the responsibility to ensure their products are safe.
They're saying it's not dangerous, yet you have a whole panel to stop it. What is that? What does that say to you? Now, I want to show something, because if you ever read the book 1985 by George Orwell, right? Not 1984. Yeah, 1984 by George. I'm saying my birthday. I'm old.
Right.
1984 by George Orwell.
Right.
Right. It predicts this type of dystopian future.
100%.
And I want to show something that is specifically that's happening now. Let's go to that because there's a passage in George Orwell when the protagonist is talking to like a member of government, right? Well, talking about the government, and he's a reasonable person, you know. So he says, you know, 2 + 2 = 4. We all know that to be true, right? That's an objective thing we say that means truth. Whenever we talk about, we say 2 + 2 = 4. Well, guess what? In that book, he said, well, 2 + 2 can be 5. It's like the government speaking, or 3, or whatever I say it is, or all things at once. Now, this is something that we was obvious to always be 4, but in today, that's changing today.
You'll see who's classified as a woman or who's classified as a man.
Exactly.
Right.
And that premise right there is leading to what I'm talking about. So let's start with the Orwell. Start with the article first.
Why do they say that 2 + 2 = 5 in 1984? In 1984, the statement that 2 + 2 = 5 refers to the manipulation of truth. Winston himself insists on the objectivity of truth, represented by the contrasting statement 2 + 2 = 4.
Things that are objective, right? Things that we all know to be true, not subjective, not your feelings, not how you objective, like 2 + 2 = 4, right? This is a man, this is a woman. These are objective truths. So when we get into a space where people are lying about objective truth, right? And people want you to accept something that's not the objective truth, it's a dangerous place. Especially, right. And this is where it comes in with misinformation, right? Like if government is supporting all these new LGBTQ laws, what is that saying?
The truth is subjective.
Exactly.
Right.
And then they're the ones who's going to be in charge of what's misinformation. So we're slowly devolving into that.
Like us African Americans never came on the Atlantic slave trade. We came on the Atlantic migration.
Right.
Right.
Or the Atlantic trade agreements. I heard that recently from some sister. I was blown away. My mind was like,
and people, we can laugh at this today, think it'll never happen. It is happening. It only takes one generation. Remember, every generation has to learn the whole of humanity's information, right? Every generation has to do that. So all it takes is one generation of misinformation, and that's it. They're going to carry that.
Orwell's warning, however, is that truth itself can be manipulated and undermined by the state. This serves as one of the key themes of 1984.
Now, this was a prediction, right? But it was fantastical at the time this was written. Let's show how that exact example is happening today. Let's go to that next article. That exact example is happening today, where they're saying, well, maybe 2 + 2 isn't 4, right? Matter of fact, you are racist if you say 2 + 2 is 4. You're transphobe, right? Maybe that's a dog whistle term, which is a term. It's supposed to be a term of objective truth, right? Like the reason we say it is because of the Orwell book. Like that's why it's become into the popular sphere of things we say. Which? Oh, the book. It wasn't a scripture. It was from a passage from a book. Want to read it again? No, it was from a book. Okay. Let's jump right into this.
Math professor claims equation 2 + 2 = 4 reeks of white supremacy patriarchy.
This is exactly what Orwell warned about. Exactly what he warned about. Let's keep going.
A math equation professor in New York City claimed that the equation 2 + 2 = 4 reeks of white supremacist patriarchy. The idea that math or data is culturally neutral in or in any way objective is a myth. I'm ready to move on with that understanding. Who's coming with me? Brooklyn College professor of math education, Laura Ruby, tweeted last week to her roughly 1,200 followers.
Yes, but this is a college professor, a professor. Like, this is what's going on in the colleges now. You know what I mean? A college professor is arguing objective truth. Right? You have government supporting LGBTQ nonsense. You know, saying, you know, like in Canada, if you don't call someone by their preferred gender or whatever, it's a crime.
Right.
You think this is some far out thing? Canada's right above us. It's in Canada right now. That's the law in Canada. It's not some law coming or one day. Right now, if a guy says I'm a her, you have to call him a her. Oh, it's a crime. It's a crime. And now you see the U.S. is going down that same route of misinformation.
It's funny you say that because I've just been told that I need to get an ID for my job.
Right.
And one of the things that they requesting for me to put on my ID is my pronouns. And they put a whole bunch of things like he, she, they, them, and they put etc. I'm so tempted to put my Lord and Master.
You should. And then you should take it very serious. When someone doesn't call, you should go to HR.
Right.
Just to break the stupidity of what they're doing. Just to break. So this is just showing, by the way, I know you probably one that has ties into the war report. This is showing.
You already see it.
Wait, this is showing the war on information.
Wait, real quick, right? That reminds me of a quick story. Remember when we overnight at the slavery, we used to, when we came into truth, we used to change our name tags around.
Right.
And people used to be mad. Like, we would be like, all right, I'm Satan and he's Christ. And we were like, I'm not calling you that. Then don't speak to me.
Right.
Don't
right.
speak to us around, because it's like, come on, the LGBT people could do it. What's the problem?
Exactly.
You insulted me by not calling me Satan. They were like, I'm not calling you Satan. That's evil. My mama named me Satan. They would not do it. They wouldn't do it. What's your name? That's my name. That's not your name. Prove it. I'm gonna call your manager. Call my manager. He ain't here. So it's either you're gonna call me Satan, call me Lord, call me Sire.
Yes, Satan. Yes, Christ.
Listen, I mean, it was jokes, but in the joke is seriousness, because you got people out there that trans age, trans dog, eh?
Right.
There's trans whatever now.
It's
Trans nationality.
It's
Right.
a slippery slope ideology that, if accepted, then you would have to accept others that's using the same line of reasoning.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And this is something that the government is getting caught up with. And listen, and trying to silence black people and civil rights by accepting other minorities' civil rights. That's the reason. I don't know if you know that nonsense. So they don't have to determine anything to do with black people, right? Because black people has a financial benefit. If accepted by the government, it's a financial bag they got to pay out, right? There's no financial bag with gay people and trans and well, what are they fighting for? They fight for someone to call them something. It's not groups, and they're so-called struggles. Is once you accept the slippery slope, you know, other ideologies that have the same reasoning, you must accept also. So now queer plus AI, and the reason they can do that is because you accepted one already. You know what I'm saying? So now we're dealing with this type of thing where it's like, well, if I'm offended by you saying 2 + 2 is 4, well, maybe that's a dog whistle. Maybe you saying it because you're a white supremacist. Maybe you're a transphobe. So now they have to accept that it's not, because you're already not accepting objective truth by saying this is a man and that's a woman. Exactly. You feel what I'm saying? The government is using this to label things as misinformation. So now something that we know to be true, like 2 + 2 is 4, can be labeled as misinformation by them saying this is this hurtful, hateful comment, or this is a dog whistle, or this is, you understand? And that's the new way of censoring you. Labeling things that you don't like, labeling your dissidents as misinformation is censorship.
Right.
You know what I mean?
100%.
And people have to understand, like, you can't just be okay with it when they're censoring your enemies. Because if they can censor your enemies, guess what? They can censor you. It's the same thing. You know what I mean? You can't let the slippery slope go. You know what I mean? So though you might be liberal and want to accept everybody and all this nonsense, you can't allow government to be the ones in charge of it. Because government, their purpose is to govern over you. And you know what they want to do? They want to become tyrants.
Right.
That is their whole, they want the most power as possible. You know what I'm saying? So now we have the president having panels that have been unelected, advising him on what's misinformation and what's not. You have the executive branch censor this person, ban this person, censor this word, hey, blacklist this phrase, right? So when anyone who uses the phrase, they can't get views. I'm not gonna ban them because I'll raise an alarm. And I thought it was ironic that they do it into the phrase 2 + 2 is 4.
Right. Right.
Something that was designed to show objective truth. Objective truth. So we have a new war on our hands on information, because without having access to information, you wouldn't know about any of the other wars. How do you know what's happening and you're seeing it from the internet? You know what I'm saying? All comes from information, the free access to information, right? You've never lived in a place where your information wasn't free.
I could only imagine living, 500, 600, 800 years ago. You're living your life and not knowing that the other side of the world there's a war, and then one morning you wake up and invasion.
Well, the thing about it is to control you better. Because just think about it. Just think about 20 years ago with just no internet.
Right.
You understand? Well, not even 20. It was more like, I guess, 30, 25. You know what I'm saying? 25 years ago with no internet. Most of us grew up without the internet with certain things. Just think about certain things you could get away with before and now. Just look at the Freaknik thing. You understand? So much people during that time era felt like ain't nobody gonna ever know I did this.
I went to a different city. I did something crazy, and I went back home.
Right. And listen, I never know. And now things is coming out. It's to keep people under control.
Right.
That's all it is about. Because if you can't keep people under control, you can't get them to do what you want.
Right.
If you know that the war in Russia and China and America and all this is wrong, guess what you're not gonna do? You ain't gonna join the army.
Right.
You're gonna join the Navy.
I'll give a perfect example. Right now, France is revolting, right? And there isn't one news station in America that's reporting on it.
It's funny you said it because I just found it out the other day, and I'm like, why?
But they've been revolting the whole month.
Yeah.
Report on. The only way you see it is from online. They were both. And the French Revolution. You know what I'm saying?
Throughout their history.
Like their principles is built upon not having a king. You know what I'm saying? The same way America principles is built on not having government tyranny. Half the things that was written was so that the government don't become a king, essentially. You know what I'm saying? So here's the thing, you gotta understand, no news station in America is reporting on it. So the only way you would know about it is through the internet. Now, what if that didn't report on it? You would not know. Unless someone from France flew over here and told you, you would not know. Listen, before the internet, you didn't know what was happening in the cities. Right now, you hear about every death in every city, right? You
would have never known about that. You know what I mean? There wasn't even a 24-hour news cycle back then. Right. You know what I'm saying? So tonight at 6, and they only talked about local things. Right? Someone was killed in your town. You know what I mean? So like free information, we have been accustomed to it, and they are trying to stop that. You know what I mean? It is the thing we use to galvanize ourselves. You know what I mean? You may think this is in the war, but just think of it this way: the government thinks it's important. The executive branch, they're having meetings on it. They're building panels. They're pressuring companies.
They trying to censor me even with a mic. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's very, 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 very important, man. Listen, I just wanted to bring that out because there's a war on objective truth. There's a war on information. You know what I'm saying? That's the new war because that lets us know about all the other wars. I think that's something that's not being touched upon that we have to speak on. You know what I'm saying? So that's the end of the war report. That's the war report for today.
Cue the music. Damn right. Give that a hand, man. Listen, man. Got the knowledge on it, got the business on it, man. Make sure you tune into that War Report podcast. Y'all see what's going on, man. They coming after all of the information. They using misinformation as tools to manipulate you. And don't think that just because you some lonely single mom who wakes up every day and takes a look at her Facebook time. Little old you is exactly who they care about, manipulating you and watching all of your movements and every penny you spend, where you spend it at, what gets you up in the morning, what makes you feel good. Every single shred of information that makes you, the highest levels of government they are looking to manipulate you. Understand your families, understand your buying habits, understand how you sleep, what medical needs medical needs that you need. You know, they want to know if you start smoking at 22, what age you should be dead. That way some company can take out life insurance on you. Walmart actually did that.
Multiple companies do it.
Right. Right.
They take out life insurance on their people. The thing about Walmart that was so crazy is because they hire the older people as greeters and then take out insurance on those same people.
Damn.
So it's like it's a faster turnaround. So people was wondering like, why are you hiring these old people for to greet?
Right.
Oh, maybe it's just altruistic. Maybe they're doing it because they're nice and old people need a job. But in reality, we found out they wasn't doing it for that. They was doing it because those people die quicker.
Right.
And the payout for the insurance comes faster. You know what I'm saying?
It's a damn shame, man. Listen, our oppressor is undoubtedly the devil the Bible speaks of.
Right.
And all of these things are put into place to destroy God's chosen people.
Right.
Coming to the I.S.U.P.K and the Commander General YAHANNA method to not be destroyed by misinformation on the internet, because it's certainly out there, man. And it's getting deeper and deeper when you think about it. Like, for example, just before we close this out, one thing that I noticed, right, is that when I was coming up, you would very rarely see shows about jail. You might see a movie every here and there, but it was only until HBO came out with okay, turn on cable, half the damn shows on there is glorifying some idiot in jail. and how the jail system works. Not only that, but they done allowed brothers to have cell phone cameras in jail so they can broadcast to you just how fun it is in prison. How you sit around and have rap battles and eat commissary and have nothing to worry about but watch free TV in prison.
I don't think it's a mystery, right?
You might have to.
I don't think it's a coincidence that that's happening. At the same time, here's something people might not know: the incarceration rate for black men is down 30%. Right? So as the incarceration rate falls, meaning less black men are actually going to prison, it's down 30%. Right? As that falls, all of a sudden, all this shows and all this stuff about prison starts rising, almost as though they want it to go up again. It's almost as though they got to fill those beds. That's a 30% loss for the beds. If they don't fill the beds, they have to pay the state. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a business here, right? There's a financial gain in making black people go to jail, to filling the jail beds. But that's something they don't tell you. They don't tell you that the black incarceration rate for men is down 30%.
Right.
They'll never tell you when you're doing good.
Right. They'll never tell you that.
Black men in the middle class is at 60% right now. 60.
Right.
The highest it's ever been. People are trying to get their shit together, essentially.
Right.
And as that's happening, the proliferation of ratchetness and all this type of shit is being promoted more and more.
More and more.
Right? Like, if you look at the actual trending statistics, especially black men, is actually going better between going to the middle class, between black the demographic in the economy. You know, we have to be careful about the information we're taking in.
Right.
You know what I mean? This is why misinformation and information is important, because you would think things are getting worse, like black men are behaving worse, but in actuality, incarceration rate is going down.
Right.
But you wouldn't know that.
Damn right. Give that a hand, man. Listen, man. Big shout out to the War Report, man. We're gonna go ahead and end this War Report. Man, big shout out to that War Report. Give that a hand, man.
Yo, but I got some news though. Remember we said there was gonna be a special guest in the building?
Con.
We got Jamaica in the building. What's going on? Come on, take a seat. Take a seat. Welcome to Let It Be Known every Sunday. What's going on? Come on in here.
What's going on? Listen, man, we got I.S.U.P.K Jamaica in the building, man. It's going down. So how's everything?
Wait, but first, have you ever done an elevator pitch before? Yes, when they give you like 30 seconds to introduce who you are, where you're from, and all that. I need 30 seconds to introduce who you are, where you're from.
Officer 1000 I.S.U.P.K Jamaica. Officer 1000 Abadawan.
Damn right.
From Jamaica.
Where in Jamaica?
We're in Clarendon.
Where?
Clarendon.
Clarendon?
Clarendon.
Okay,
right.
okay. Is that close to the beach?
Yes, but I mean, it might not be a beach that you want. No, Andrew, we do have White Sand Beach down that side, but it's not tourists. Tourists can go, but You know, there's no all-inclusive there. You have to come at, you know, book your regular hotel to come down that side. Okay. You know, once you coming in, you know, you come to an all-inclusive hotel. They tell you all things out. Don't go outside.
Right.
They will kill you out
They
there.
told me that.
All right. But listen to this now. If you as a tourist was then the all-inclusive would have been needing more security than you see over there, because you would have gangs or whatever storming the all-inclusive, and that's not happening.
Right.
So they're telling you a bunch of lies.
Right. Damn
That's
right,
the
man.
reality. Because they don't want you to spend that tourist dollar anywhere else but in the all-inclusive hotel.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
They don't want you to use it
Right.
in the actual communities there.
Right. Right, because they're cutting the trickle-down effect from tourism.
Right.
In any economy, if there's no trickle-down effect, the poor will suffer.
So are they
Right.
are they stopping
Any economy.
you from, like, say if we all went to Jamaica, instead of spending all our money at the resorts and what if we want to go into the local community? Will they prevent us from doing that?
They'll advise you not to, but you can. But most people who come to the all-inclusive, they might just come for sightseeing. They will leave the all-inclusive to see the rest of the country. But if you know, like you know me, I come and get you. But they will tell you, don't go out there. This will happen. That will happen. Oh, nigga, please. When was the last time? It's more dangerous for me as a black man over there, more than for the tourists.
Right. Right.
How long you been in the States for? I know I saw you over at Passover.
Right?
How long you been here?
About 2 days before Passover. Leaving next week.
So you've been here for like 3 weeks almost.
Right.
Most high in Christ.
You know, drinking up that Holy Spirit here.
Most high.
Damn right.
Shout out to Captain Nayatha and his rib.
Shout out to Captain Knight.
And the DC crew in general, you know.
The mind shot.
Yeah.
Damn right.
You know, Captain Mashak was the first person that I see on a video for before coming into the UPK.
Same
As a
here.
matter of fact, you know, you always hear they say the truth woke you up. Trust me. I was literally watching TV, you know, getting sleepy, and by that time, you know, I noticed the fake Israelite group, their videos, you know, get spin. So I saw this video, you know, with some real thugs looking men. And I see something about Jesus, and I look at the picture and I say, nah, that don't match.
Damn right. Damn right.
So I skip it. Then it pop up again. And I skip
Same video?
the same video. It pops up about 3 times, and it was about 11 in the night. And then I was going to skip it again, and I said to myself, no, since it pop up so much time, I would like to see it. But in the morning, I was going to turn the video off, and then I said, no, it's best if I play it first so that it record in my history. So even if I don't see it pop up again, I find it in the history. So I started it. Within the first minute, white man is the goddamn devil the Bible speak of. That I was like, when I read that, it was a physical and spiritual wake up at the same time. Yeah, that was Captain Mashak, you know.
Damn
Most
right.
High
Give
Christ
Captain
did that
Mashak.
I don't know if you're familiar with Let It Be Known. So right now, scriptures, right?
Yeah, and I'm letting it be known what is happening. I know I got in the truth.
Yeah.
Damn right.
I'm not saying you're not, right?
Right.
But I want to get
know.
your reason on this article that we
The
were.
FREAKNIK.
No, we just finished that. You missed it. I'm sorry, you missed it.
I heard you talking about it on my way in. Yeah, that is going to be an interesting.
What are your thoughts on the FREAKNIK 94 controversy?
That's what I'm saying. It's going to be an interesting period of time.
If it ever gets
If it
released,
ever
yeah.
get released. But until now, I don't see a white person, our Asian, our next nation person, you know, showing fear that, boy, they're going to release this video. It's the blacks.
Of course.
So that shows you who the Lord's people is and who should be keeping laws.
Damn right.
And are not.
Right. Yeah, you right about that, because our sisters are ashamed because that's not their culture. Like, let's say if you was let's say and you was doing your African voodoo dancing, you know how the sisters don't have no clothes on and they dancing and ooh, they doing all of that.
Exactly.
No African woman is ashamed of that.
Exactly.
No African woman will be ashamed if somebody came out with a documentary showing her doing her tribal dances with her breast out, because that's her culture.
Exactly.
You know, our women are ashamed because they know damn well it is not their culture to be parading around naked at FREAKNIK 94. So you are right, sir. It is going to be interesting period of time to see this come out. And I also predict there's going to be a lot more Me Too cases that come out of that as well.
If,
you know,
because
because
I could, right, real quick, I don't mean to cut you off, but the thing about it is you got to remember there's a generation where women were damn, I just lost the train of thought I had. They were embarrassed. They were scared to be naked, to show the thing. That's why you have the women of that generation saying, like, listen, I hope they don't do this. I hope they don't do that. I hope I won't be shown looking like a whore, because during that time in the 90s, it was if you was a whore, it was a bad thing. You ain't want to promote it how it is now. Now the women are not ashamed. So you gotta remember they're releasing FREAKNIK more on the line for the women and children of this age to look like, listen, your parents did it, so you can do it. Don't be ashamed to do it because your parents did it. But the thing about them is they didn't want no one to know. You do it willingly, letting people know, and it's fine. So the thing about this, what they're trying to portray is want to tell you, like, listen, your parents were keeping secrets about things they tell you not to do. So if you saw your mother out there being a whore and showing her breasts, guess what? You have every right to, because she did it. She hid it from you.
Right.
You do it, and guess what? She don't want you to do it. Why? Because it reminds her of her when she did it. That's the difference now. Your children out here being whores, and they love being whores. When you was a whore, you was secretly doing it. You dressed up in the costumes and go what? Out the FREAKNIK where nobody knew in your family you was going. Your mother, your grandmother, your father didn't know you was taking a trip to Georgia. You told them you was going to college. I know some of y'all might hear that. I'm going to college, Ma, Pa. But the trip is to stop at FREAKNIK first. I'm gonna stop there. Right. Be the big 20 years later. Guess what? You going to start a show on Hulu. You're in an intro. You understand? But that's the main point. The main point is not for the old generation. It's the new generation to encourage them to do it more. Because guess what? Your parents telling you not to do it. Just imagine that. Your parents told you to never do something, and you found out that they did it. What's the first thing you're going to say when you found that out? What's the first thing you say when your parents told you should never do it, and you realize it's ever again?
Right.
So that's what it's truly for, to encourage the kids of this generation to be more whores, to be more sluts and pimps and whatever.
Damn right.
Well, that a hand.
Well, you know, I pray that the Most I pray the Most I use it as a teaching moment, so that those women who were there, when their life gets screwed, their children look at it and say, oh, I shouldn't be doing that. Yeah. That's one thing that could come out of that.
Concert.
Right.
Listen, man.
Let's move on to this next article we got lined up. You know, we don't got
Dalai Lama apologizes after video asking child to suck his tongue sparks outcry. This is just as disgusting as you can get. And let me tell you something. It is no secret. Like the Dalai Lama is coming out apologizing for this. he's coming out apologizing for this, but he is no different than any Catholic priest or any other disgusting religious leader that does these sort of things to children. Who says that?
Oh.
Like, who says that? I don't see no reason whatsoever or any situation that would come about that would allow any grown man to say "suck my tongue" to a goddamn child.
And they've been exposed several times. These Tibetan monks and all that,
right?
You know, from homosexuality to pedophilia to drug addiction. This ain't new.
Oh yeah, man. You think they speaking to the spirits when they be high off their mind? He can stop a bullet and flip a dude when he's high off his mind doing all that.
Listen, they give an avatar a bad name.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Let me tell you something, man. It's such a disgusting thing. And if you're black or Hispanic, and you've ever gone to visit the Dalai Lama or thought you was going to get some spiritual awakening from a goddamn pedophile, you better think again. This is what the Dalai Lama is saying to children whose parents have taken them to go visit the Dalai Lama because they thought they was going to get some spiritual awakening. Their yogi or their third eye was going to be awakened by going to visit some heathen in the mountains of Tibet. The spiritual leader kissing a child on the lips, then asking him to suck my tongue at an event in northern India. In the statements Monday, the Office for the Dalai Lama said he wishes to apologize to the boy and his family, as well as many of his friends across the world, for the hurt his words may have caused and the regrets of the incident. His Holiness often teases people he meets in an innocent and playful way, even in public before the cameras. Let me tell you something. The Dalai Lama needs to be locked up for this. You know, the Dalai Lama needs a whole documentary from the Me Too movement to show and dig up every disgusting thing that he's done in his past, because a man just doesn't say something like this and it's his first time.
Right. They need a Freaknik Dalai Lama edition.
Right. They need
but guess what? His Freaknik came out early.
Right.
Freaknik disclosure.
His right. Word. And listen, the 87-year-old spiritual leader then invites the boy on stage and points to his cheeks and says, "First here," prompting the boy to give him a hug and a kiss. First here?
I knew it.
First here. That's what he told the kid.
He was just saying in his mind, let him start from the top first and work his way down.
Right. Right. That's exactly what he's saying. That's exactly what he's saying. The Dalai Lama points to his lips, then says, "Then I think finally here also." Then he pulls the boy's chin and kisses him on the mouth. Suck my tongue, he says after a few seconds, poking out his tongue. This is a disgusting, dirty old man. This, like, you look at this as a spiritual leader. That is a stone cold pedophile. And a lot of our people look at these monks as if they some sort of great path to righteousness.
Right.
They are an entire community of men who spend their whole lives catering and serving this pedophile.
Right. And you know, they lead you to be they lead you to think that they're so and they don't women, they don't have sex. Sooner or later, some homosexual acts are gonna come out.
It already did.
Oh, it did.
They got exposed for having like gay parties.
Oh yeah,
drug addiction.
Bring that out. See that article up so to let you know.
Tibetan monks exposed for homosexual.
It's just like the Catholic Catholic churches, the schools where it's all girls. You think you're trying to really, there's lesbians and gays, parties and acts. You can't escape that.
But guess
what they do?
Guess what? Now we know what is happening up in those mountains.
Absolutely. Now we know what's
Now we
happening.
know
on
why
those
in
mountains.
Israel they went to the high places.
Right.
It's the same thing. They go up in the high places in the mountain away from everyone because no social nothing to them.
Right.
Now we know what is happening up there.
Well, so you asked for it. Here it is.
Listen, go ahead. What it say?
A Buddhist monk was arrested for having chemsex parties in his temple.
Grilling. Look at Krillin looking for the Dragon Balls. Looking for the Dragon Balls. Look at him.
Hit no thanks.
Listen, man.
Look at this
A
man.
bad boy Buddhist monk has been arrested after he was allegedly caught smoking meth and having gay sex parties in his temple. Temple. Yeah, he's a Master Kai Hung.
That's like
Well,
every man,
Master Kai
bishop
Hung.
or cardinal.
Right. This is what their masters do.
Master Kaya.
Was the Secretary General of the Chinese Young Buddhist Association until a few weeks ago when police raided the 29-year-old's room in Changfo Temple in Taiwan. What they found was 19 grams of amphetamine, smoking pipes, condoms, anal relaxants,
What he doing?
erection medication, and a bottle of holy water.
A bottle of holy
Filled
water.
with-
That's not even the
Look,
same.
look.
Sir.
A bottle. Listen to this. A bottle of holy water filled with lube.
Oh man.
This is-
That's a holy water.
I've been smoking.
Word.
I've been smoking.
Word.
That is still religion.
That's holy water.
Listen, man.
Word.
Now you know why they wear those big beads, big balls around their neck, man. Those chains are big balls because that's all they doing up there. They
Right.
Master Roshi. Why?
They up there being the vilest creature on the face of this planet, man. And those mountains. And they tell you can't walk on this sacred ground with your slippers. And they're out there having the slippiest party out there to know
Right.
to mankind.
FREAKNIK.
Right. Where did they get meth from? In the top of the mountain. Where, y'all? Where did meth come from?
This is FREAKNIK Taiwan.
Right.
For
No,
you,
it's not. I can't listen. I'm not gonna make the joke because I don't want to get banned. I don't want the channel to get banned. But listen, man, that's letting you know God needs to destroy this planet, man.
Damn right.
He needs to destroy all these nations because they up there doing unseemly things,
Horrifying things.
horrifying
things. You know.
Go ahead.
No,
Salaki.
Salaki, so go
Go ahead.
No, because it takes stories like this just to shed a little light, just for people to get a little glimpse of the type of people who of what these Buddhist monks are up to. This is the Dalai Lama. He's the top dog over there. The Dalai Lama is kissing children in the mouth and prepping them to suck his tongue.
Right. The Dalai Lama
He's
would be
disgusted.
Salaki. The Dalai Lama would be like the Pope.
Right.
Or one of the cardinals, eh?
Right, exactly. That's what he would
Right.
be in that
Buddhism.
society there.
Yeah, he'd be
You
the
know?
Pope.
Right.
Just like how multiple presidents have done nasty things.
Multiple, exactly. And what happens every time some politician is caught messing around with some young boy, issue an apology, customs, and show social influence on gender and sexuality to interpret Tibetan way of expression is heinous. You know, it's basically what he's saying is that, you know, we're not above taking on your disgusting cultures in the West. You know, dealing with young kids and doing all these things.
Right.
Like we're not above taking on that. That's what they're saying over there.
Because we got our own culture.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We got our own culture of putting lube in a holy water bottle.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Our culture. Yo, I'm gonna tell you, that's crazy wild. That's wildlife out there.
That's
man.
wild.
That's a wild boy. He out there putting lube in holy water
Right.
bottle, man. Yo, you gotta check your water, people. Check your water.
Right.
Check your waters before you take it from anybody. You hear me?
That's lucky. No, the culture of these Buddhists is to remove themselves from society.
Right.
Go into the mountains.
Right.
So if they are homosexuals, then it's not the West.
Right. No, 100%.
That's what they're doing up there in the mountains.
Mm-hmm.
Well, listen,
It can't be the West. They are not mixing.
Do the incest. How much more
Right.
sexual deviant can you be?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right, that's the point. Right, like he got caught with that at the temple. It's not like he got caught with that at the hotel down the block from the temple. He was in the temple with it, you know, because that's what they're doing up there. And to blacks and Hispanics, brothers and sisters out there, the Tina Turner of the world who took on Buddhism, and so all of the brothers out there that think they're gonna find some great spiritual awakening in yoga and martial arts and Tai Chi and all of that. Those heathens over there are just as disgusting as they could be from the top down, and they are no different than your oppressor. They are no different than those disgusting politicians from the Pope or any of these other fake leaders. And this story is definitely proof of that. By the Dalai Lama trying to prep some young boy to kissing him in the mouth, and in his words, suck my tongue. Like that is the most disgusting thing. That like that's such a horrible thing, man.
Right, and it goes back to the scripture we was reading in Leviticus 18, where it talks you, but it says don't dwell with the other nations, man. The other nations is gonna leave you into this type of destruction, and this also lets you know that no matter what religion you think is going to help you out, you're going to always find a pedophile. Someone who's homosexual. Somebody who's doing unseemly things that they're not supposed to be doing. Next thing you know, there's going to be a beast coming through the door. You know what I'm saying? You out there in the mountains, up there with this Buddhist monk, he's going to tie you up and show you his ancient Indian secrets.
Right.
You understand? And next thing you know, you see a cow, the holy cow that he don't want to eat, but he's sure going to have sex with it. He's sure gonna drink its pee and let it defecate on them because they do all those stuff.
Right.
And that's letting you know you ain't gonna get nowhere without serving the Most High in Christ, because the Bible has the answers for everything. And the answer for this is to leave them the hell alone. Let them do whatever they want to do and bring some new disease onto the planet and let it eradicate them. Well, guess what? You can have your parties, man. Damn, FREAKNIK, you know, Passover and all that, it's 7 days. The feast of unleavened bread, that's supposed to be a 7-day feast, man. You think you're supposed to, you know, we go through it and look at it like, damn, I can't have bread. Well, that's not the only thing you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be having a party. It's a feast for 7 days.
Right.
You're supposed to be enjoying yourself. The whole months to come is supposed to be parties and this and that. Why? Because it's supposed to remember your culture, remember your brothers and sisters. No matter what you do throughout the whole year, you're supposed to come back together and serve the Most High and learn that, listen, we can have a party serving them. It don't have to be boring.
Right.
But you don't have to show your breasts and vagina and gang rape your sister to have fun. That's not what it's about.
Right. Look at the all black party.
Right. Yeah, listen, we had a party.
No weed, no crack.
Absolutely.
No women swinging on poles. And it was lit. That party was lit. There's only one place that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans can get spiritual awakening, and that's in the I.S.U.P.K under commanding General YAHANNA.
Damn right. Give that a hand.
Not up in any mountains with no Dalai Lama.
No, you're not going to get any spiritual awakening in the mountains with the Dalai Lama. Damn the Dalai Lama and everything they got going on over there. If you're black, Hispanic, and Native, and you want to know something else, the Dalai Lama is going to do his annual visit to the United States this year. If he hasn't already, he'll continue to do it every year people will continue to bring their children up to see him and visit him, and he's gonna have something nasty and disgusting to whisper in every single last one of these ears.
Yeah.
You know, so if you're Black and Hispanic, bring your children to visit Commander General YAHANNA and the I.S.U.P.K. I assure you, under no circumstance will we be whispering anything as disgusting as the Dalai Lama in their ears during that visit. But yeah, man, listen, we about over the time. Big shout out to the chat. Thank you for your love and your support, helping us push this truth, man. Stay live with us every single Sunday from 4 to 6, man. And we're going to get up out of here unless we got anything else, sir. Oh, God.
Right? Remember programs, we have food drives, we have things for brothers and sisters to get off everything. If you need coats, I know winter might be over for some people here in the States, but it's always cold somewhere else. I don't know where you might be listening to Let It Be Known. Listen, if you're a brother in Russia, I don't know what you do over there, but if you're in Russia, listen, find out how you can get a coat. Find out something. The food drives, go to the captain, talk to the officer who's over that school, get counseling, get food, get the clothes. We have all these programs that brothers and sisters need to use. You know what I'm saying? That's where all the time sisters, I want to say get out because we still in the slums, but just to be comfortable, just to help you. We have the, but that's all I want to say. And brother from Jamaica, I know you have something to say something to the people. Man, say what you want to say something. Go ahead. You want to say something before we leave?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I wanted to bring the brother up from Jamaica. You know,
Kyle, yeah. Is he there?
Yeah, it should be.
Yeah, bring him up.
Send him invite. Let me. I had on 144.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's bring the brother up from Jamaica.
K-A-Y-A-D W-A-N 144. Just I had on 144. I had on.
Send him the email.
Before you send it.
Hopefully he's there. Every week on Sunday, we have Long Island classes. We have classes Monday through Sunday. You understand? 7 o'clock to 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Next Saturday, I'm gonna be doing a Long Island class on the LBGT. Like we always figure that there's a conspiracy why there's some homosexuality in everything. You see it in Bud Light, you see it in the Gap, you see it in all these functions. Well, I have physical that they do in there on purpose. Next o'clock, we're gonna bring it out and show you why do these companies like Bud Light put homosexualities in their campaign? Why are they in the schools? Why are they all in these businesses and TV shows? We're gonna show you why there's always a homosexual character, or there's a gay character, or whatever. They gotta do something during Pride Month that the show next Saturday at 7 p.m. on Island and Cross the Line Radio. We're gonna show you why there's a true gay agenda, and we're gonna have proof next Saturday. But is the brother ready, or is he? Oh, he's coming now. Listen, let's find something else real quick until the brother comes up. You know, when the brother comes up, we'll drop the article unless he's here now. Oh, there you go.
Dashboard, sir.
There you go, little brother, right now. Shalom, YAHANNA. What's going on, Ak? No, yeah, I know it's a delay, right, Con?
What's up, Ak?
There, sir. They are going to hold it down for officer Abadawan, you know.
All right.
Most High in Christ. How you doing over there, Ak? How's the weather? This is better than here.
The weather is perfect right now. No, I mean, a little bit cloudy.